not here for comfort. You're here because you've been broken, betrayed, and left for dead. And you're done pretending it didn't scar you. This isn't motivation. This is war. Every word here is a weapon. Every line is a reminder that pain either kills you or builds you into something untouchable. If you're tired of soft lies and fake positivity, you've found the voice you've been searching for. Subscribe now. Not for me, but for the darker version of you that's ready to wake the fuck up. You think pain has you trapped. You think it owns you. But here's the truth. Pain isn't a prison, it's a weapon. It's a fire that either burns you alive or forges you into something untouchable. And the only difference is what the fuck you decide to do with it. Stop saying you're stuck. You're not stuck. You're just comfortable being the victim. Pain didn't chain you down. You chained yourself down by holding on to the idea that life owes you comfort. Newsflash, life doesn't owe you shit. Every person you love can turn their back. Every friend you trusted can betray you. Every dream you had can collapse in front of your eyes. And still, nobody is coming to save you. The world doesn't care if you drown. That's why pain is the only honest thing you'll ever have. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't pretend. It cuts you raw and leaves you bleeding. And in that silence, you finally hear the truth. Nobody is coming. It's just you. So what do you do with that? Do you beg? Do you collapse? Do you keep replaying the same sob story in your head like it'll give you back what you lost? Or do you get the fuck up and turn every ounce of suffering into fuel? Because that's the only choice you really have. Burn with it or burn from it. Here's the reality. Nobody respects weakness. They might pity you. They might nod their heads and say, "Stay strong," while secretly enjoying your downfall. But they don't respect you. Respect comes when you stop bitching about what happened and stop building yourself into a force that doesn't need their approval, their love, or their validation. You think heartbreak ruined you? No. Heartbreak exposed you. It showed you where you were weak. It showed you how much of yourself you gave away just to keep someone else happy. They didn't kill you. They revealed you. That betrayal wasn't the end. It was the blueprint. Now you know exactly where the cracks are. And you either patch them with steel or let them bleed you out. Failure? Same shit. That failure you keep crying about wasn't punishment. It was a test. Life asked you, how bad do you actually want this? You answered with excuses, tears, and self-pity. That's why you lost. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you weren't willing to stay in the fire long enough to become unbreakable. The truth is brutal, but you need to hear it. The reason you're still hurting is because you're addicted to your pain. You like the attention it gets you. You like the sympathy. You like the excuse it gives you not to change. Pain became your identity, and you're terrified of letting it go because then you'd have no reason left to keep losing. But let me tell you something. The second you flip the script, the second you stop seeing pain as punishment and start using it as gasoline, your whole life changes. Every insult becomes a rep in the gym. Every betrayal becomes another late-night grinding. Every heartbreak becomes another dollar made, another skill mastered, another wall built around your soul. That's how you win. Not by crying, not by posting quotes about healing, but by weaponizing the very thing that was meant to break you. You don't have to be happy to move forward. You don't have to be healed to start. You don't have to forgive anyone or let shit go. You don't. What you need is to grab the blade of your pain with your bare hands, cut yourself open with it, and then use that blood as ink to rewrite who the fuck you are. Stop thinking you need closure. Stop thinking you need apologies. Stop thinking you need to make peace with what happened. You don't. You need to outgrow it. That's it. Outgrow the people who left. Outgrow the ones who betrayed you. Outgrow the version of you who thought they couldn't survive without them. Because you already did. You're still here. And that means the old you is dead. The only question now is, who replaces them? Pain will either keep you crying in the same room, staring at the same walls, or it'll drive you to tear those walls down and build an empire on the rubble. You get to choose, not them. Not your past, not the ones who hurt you. You. Understand this. Your pain is proof you're still alive. Proof you're still dangerous. If you weren't a threat, life wouldn't be testing you like this. The fact that you're hurting this much means you got something inside you worth fighting for. And the only way to honor that is to turn pain into progress. You can sit in your brokenness and let the world laugh at you, Or you can disappear into the grind, build yourself in silence, and walk back into their lives as a storm they'll never see coming. The same people who thought they killed you will choke when they realize all they did was hand you the fuel you needed to ignite. So here's your choice: stay the victim or become the weapon. Drown in your suffering or sharpen yourself with it. Because pain doesn't disappear, it doesn't fade, it doesn't heal, but it can be controlled, it can be harnessed, it can be turned into the most ruthless energy you'll ever feel in your life. You don't need peace, you don't need comfort, you don't need love, you need fire. And that fire is already inside you. It's been burning this whole time. You just keep trying to smother it with excuses. Stop! Let it burn. Let it consume the weak parts of you. Let it destroy the old you. Let it rip every illusion to pieces. And when it's done, step out of the flames as something nobody can fuck with again. Remember this: pain is not your prison, it's your fuel. And the next time life cuts you open, thank it. Because every scar is another tank of gasoline, and when you finally ignite it, you'll be unstoppable. Pain didn't break me, it built me. And now it feeds me. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is the knife you hold behind your back while they think you're empty-handed. You want to hurt someone who betrayed you? Stop giving them air. Stop giving them the reaction they're hunting for. Because the moment you scream, the moment you chase, the moment you explain, you hand them proof they still own space in your head. Silence is the bullet they never see coming. The loudest revenge is not revenge at all. It's absence, it's indifference, it's making them irrelevant. You don't clap back at liars. You don't argue with cheaters. You don't justify your worth to people who treated you like trash. You vanish, you lock down, you starve their ego. Do you know what kills them? Not your rage, not your tears, not your breakdown. What kills them is silence. The silence that screams, you no longer matter. Silence is not peace. Don't confuse the two. Peace is soft. Silence is sharp. Peace is surrender. Silence is war. Every second you don't respond, every message you leave unanswered, every phone call you ignore, that's punishment. They sit there, replaying their lies, choking on the weight of being nothing to you now. People who betrayed you expect noise. They expect a fight, an argument, a stage to play the victim on. But when you give them silence, you strip them of their performance. You rip the spotlight away and lock the stage. Now they rot in the dark with only their guilt echoing back at them. You need to understand this. The most dangerous person is the one who walks away without a word, because the one who screams still cares. The one who argues still hopes. The one who explains still seeks validation. But the one who goes silent, that's the one who's done. That's the one who has already buried you in their head and kept walking. That's the one you never get back. Your silence is not weakness. Your silence is not submission. Your silence is execution. When they betrayed you, they thought they killed you. They thought they broke you down into nothing. But your silence proves the opposite. It proves you don't need to fight with people beneath you. It proves you've leveled up. It proves you stopped playing the same game. Silence is how you win without lifting a finger. The world is loud with fakes. Everyone's screaming, begging, demanding attention. Everyone's fighting to be heard. You want to destroy them? Do the opposite. Become a ghost. Move in silence. Let your absence hit harder than your presence ever did. They'll talk about you. They'll create stories. They'll run their mouths to anyone who listens. But here's the truth. The more they talk, the more desperate they look. And the more silent you stay, the more powerful you become. Because silence doesn't expose you. It exposes them. You think silence is easy? No. Silence is the hardest weapon to use. It takes control. It takes discipline. It takes burning down every urge to answer, every temptation to prove yourself, every itch to scream, fuck you back. But that's the art of it. That's the mastery. Anyone can explode. Only the strong can stay silent and let the results do the talking. Because here's the real revenge. While they rot in their lies, you build. While they gossip, you grind. While they chase attention, you disappear into your growth. One day you come back, not with words, not with explanations, but with proof. Proof in your body, proof in your success, proof in your silence. They won't hear you coming. They'll just wake up one day and realize you're untouchable. Let me burn this into your head. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them answers. You don't owe them shit. Closure is a trap. It's their last chance to drag you back into their world. Don't give it. Don't explain. Don't reopen a wound they caused. Leave it bleeding in their hands. Your silence is the grave you bury them in. And yes, it will hurt. Your silence will hurt you too. At first, you'll crave the fight. You'll crave the last word. You'll crave the drama. But that craving is weakness. And weakness is what got you hurt in the first place. Learn to choke on your silence until it becomes oxygen. Until ignoring them feels better than screaming at them. Until silence becomes your natural state of power. Because here's the ugly truth. People don't respect what you say. They respect what you do. And silence is the loudest fuck you'll ever deliver. So stay silent. Stay gone. Stay disciplined. Don't clap back. Don't explain. Don't give them the gift of knowing they still matter. Make them irrelevant. Make them choke on your silence. And when the day comes that you rise again, you won't need to scream. You won't need to say a word. Your silence will have already done the damage. Your silence isn't weakness. It's the sound of you becoming untouchable. Walking away is not weakness. It's the strongest, coldest move you'll ever make. Weakness is staying where you're not valued. Weakness is feeding liars, manipulators, and parasites with your time, your energy, your love. Walking away, that's war. That's the strike they never see coming. Because when you leave, you're not just stepping out, you're starving them of the control they once had. You're cutting off their oxygen. They wanted a reaction. They wanted your rage. They wanted to see you beg, to see you cry, to see you fall apart. They wanted to win by keeping you locked in their game. But the moment you walk away, the game ends. And nothing kills a toxic person faster than irrelevance. Walking away is punishment. Don't let anyone twist that. You're not being kind. You're not being forgiven. You're not taking the high road. You're burning the fucking road down behind you. You're saying, I won't give you a single ounce of my attention again. And that silence? It's louder than anything you could ever say. They can't fight someone who refuses to stay in the ring. They swing at shadows. They curse your name in empty rooms. They stalk. They gossip. They invent stories just to feel close to you again. But you're not there. You're gone. And that's the war they can't win. Because how do you destroy someone who doesn't even acknowledge your existence? Leaving is control. Staying is surrender. Every second you argue with a liar, you legitimize their lies. Every time you defend yourself to someone who already betrayed you, you hand them power. You don't need to defend shit. You walk. You let them choke on their own guilt, their own ego, their own need to matter. And here's the truth. Most people don't want you to walk away. They want you to stay trapped in their loop, begging for respect, waiting for love, settling for scraps. They don't want you free, because free, you're dangerous. Free, you're unpredictable. Free, you're untouchable. Walking away isn't peace. Don't confuse it. It's not soft. It's not about forgiveness. It's a weapon, a calculated strike. It's telling them, you'll never get this version of me again. You'll never touch me again. You'll never even get close. That's not peace. That's war. Silent, brutal war. And the battlefield? It's your life, your attention, your silence, your growth. That's what destroys them. Not shouting, not revenge, not proving them wrong. The real destruction comes when you rise in silence, when they see you winning without them, when they realize they are nothing but a forgotten chapter. Walking away is how you kill the past. You don't kill it by revisiting it, rethinking it, replaying it at night. You kill it by starving it. No reaction, no closure, no explanation. Just absence, just silence, just the cold reality that you're gone, and they'll never get the privilege of you again. People will call it cold. People will call it heartless. Let them. What's colder, walking away from liars or staying chained to people who are draining the life out of you? What's heartless, refusing to be used or allowing yourself to be destroyed by someone who never gave a fuck? Walking away is choosing yourself. And choosing yourself will always look like betrayal to those who expect it to keep you weak. Let them think you're the villain. Wear it, own it, because villains don't beg. Villains don't explain. Villains don't stay in cages built by someone else's hands. This world doesn't reward the loyal when loyalty is wasted. It rewards the disciplined. It rewards those who can look at a sinking ship and say, "Not my death." It rewards those who can detach without warning, without regret, without looking back. That's power most people never touch. That's freedom most people fear. And when they come back, and they will come back, don't mistake their return for love. It's not love. It's hunger. It's greed. It's the parasite crawling back to its old host. Don't give them the satisfaction. Walking away once means nothing if you crawl back later. Walking away is war, but staying gone? That's victory. So let them talk. Let them lie. Let them call you bitter, selfish, cruel. While they're busy with words, you're busy with silence. While they waste time, you're stacking wins. While they decay in the past, you're building the future. That's the ultimate strike. No revenge, no fight, no drama. Just cold indifference. Because the harshest truth is this: people don't respect you when you stay. They respect you when you vanish. They respect the silence. They respect the fact that you don't come back. They respect the ghost more than they ever respected the person who stayed. Walking away isn't the end. It's the beginning. The beginning of a new war, one where you stop fighting for scraps and start fighting for yourself. One where you cut off every chain, every fake tie, every toxic bond, and walk into a life where the only loyalty is to yourself. And that's why walking away is war. Because it takes strength most people don't have. Because it's a weapon that cuts deeper than revenge. Because it's the one move they'll never recover from. You want real power? Don't scream. Don't argue. Don't explain. Just walk. And never look back. Walking away is war, and the only way to win is to stay gone. Love didn't fail you. You failed yourself. Every time you begged for attention, every time you tolerated bullshit, every time you accepted crumbs, you stabbed your own back. Don't blame love. Blame the lack of self-respect you carried like a chain around your neck. Love is fragile. It breaks under lies, under ego, under weakness. But self-respect is nuclear. Self-respect is untouchable. When you have it, no one can fuck you over twice. When you don't, the world will walk on your spine and you'll thank them for the privilege. You thought love was enough. You thought feelings would save you. You thought loyalty from your side would guarantee loyalty from theirs. Wrong. That was weakness dressed up as hope. And weakness is exactly what they saw. Weakness is what they used. Understand this. You weren't betrayed because you loved. You were betrayed because you placed love above respect. You forgot the rule. The one law that can never be broken. If you don't respect yourself, no one else will. Stop blaming them. Stop blaming her. Stop blaming the world. Look in the mirror. The person who sold you out first wasn't them. It was you. You sold yourself cheap. You offered your time, your body, your loyalty, your energy, your soul for fucking discounts. And you called it love. Let that burn. Let that sit in your chest like acid. Because it's the truth. The disease of begging is what killed you. Begging for a text back. Begging for closure. Begging for someone to see your worth when you refuse to see it yourself. Begging makes you look small. Begging makes you disposable. Begging turns you into a slave chained to a master who doesn't give a damn. Enough of that shit. You've bled enough. Here's the shift. You never beg again. You don't beg for love, for validation, for attention, for closure, for loyalty. You stand on your own. You walk away when respect is missing. Not tomorrow. Not after they change. Not after one more chance. Now. Do you know how powerful it feels to look at someone who thinks they own you and walk the fuck away? No yelling. No warning. No revenge plot. Just cold silence backed by unshakable self-respect. That silence? That's war. That's destruction without lifting a finger. They want to see you crawling. They want you stuck in the loop of proving, chasing, explaining. Don't give them the satisfaction, Become the person who would rather be alone than be disrespected. That's not loneliness. That's self-respect. And that's how you win. Listen carefully. Love is replaceable. Respect is not. You can find love again. You can build it, lose it, burn it, and find it again 1,000 times. But once you lose respect for yourself, every relationship is doomed. You'll always end up begging. You'll always end up empty. And that's why you draw the line. The second someone disrespects you, you leave. You don't fight for their love. You fight for your boundaries. You don't explain why respect matters. You enforce it. Cold, clear, final. Because love can blind you. Respect clears your vision. Love makes excuses. Respect doesn't give a fuck about excuses. Love says, maybe they'll change. Respect says, fuck you, I'm gone. I need you to get angry. Not at them, at yourself. Angry that you allowed someone to treat you like you were nothing. Angry that you believed their lies over your own gut. Angry that you wasted nights crying over people who wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. That anger is holy. That anger is the birthplace of self-respect. You don't turn that anger into tears anymore. You turn it into standards, rules, discipline. If they can't meet it, they don't get you. Simple, cold, final. You're not chasing love anymore. You're chasing respect. And if love shows up, fine. But it doesn't matter if it does, because you are no longer in the business of selling yourself for cheap. You are no longer a bargain. You are no longer available at half price. You are full price. And if they can't pay it, they don't get it. Let me be clear. This isn't about bitterness. This isn't about hating love. This is about survival, about strength, about finally putting yourself above the parasites who drain you dry. You don't heal by finding new love. You heal by never betraying yourself again. You heal by learning that self-respect will outlive heartbreak, outlive loneliness, outlive rejection, outlive anything the world throws at you. Self-respect is your weapon. Self-respect is your armor. Self-respect is the voice that whispers, you don't need them. You never did. The truth is this, love will come and go. It will fail. It will disappoint. It will break. But respect stays. Respect makes you unbreakable. Respect makes you untouchable. So choose it. Choose self-respect over love. Choose walking away over begging. Choose silence over explanations. Choose yourself. Every time. And when you do, watch how the world shifts. Watch how people either rise to meet your standard or disappear because they can't. Watch how you stop losing and start dominating. This is the law. If you want love to last, build it on respect. If you want to survive, carry respect like a weapon. If you want revenge on everyone who doubted you, who used you, who broke you, disappear with your respect intact. Because in the end, love didn't kill you. Lack of self-respect did. And now that you've buried that weakness, nothing and no one can ever kill you again. Respect is nuclear, and the second you choose it, every fake, every liar, every user, every betrayer is already dead. You want revenge? Forget revenge. Forget screaming. Forget proving. Forget begging for attention. Revenge is cheap. Discipline is priceless. Because when you master yourself, you stop bleeding for people who never deserved your veins. You stop wasting energy on people who only wanted you broken. And you start building something they can't touch. A life forged in silence. A body of work so cold it makes every snake choke on their own envy. Discipline is the weapon they can't steal. Not your friends, not your ex, not the liars, not the betrayers. They can steal your trust. They can spit on your name. They can walk away like cowards, but they cannot touch what you build in the dark. You think it's about getting even? No, it's about getting untouchable. It's about making their betrayal irrelevant by grinding so hard their existence doesn't even echo in your world anymore. That's the power of discipline. While they waste nights drinking, whining, cheating, gossiping, chasing distractions, you're working. Every rep you push, every page you read, every dollar you stack, every hour you sacrifice is a bullet in your chamber. A bullet not for them. A bullet for the old you. the weak, desperate, dependent version of you. That version dies every single day you choose discipline. Understand this, your comeback isn't emotional, it's systematic, brick by brick, rep by rep, dollar by dollar. You don't show them you've changed. You don't post about your grind. You don't warn them. You disappear. You bury yourself in discipline until one day you emerge as someone unrecognizable. That's what burns them the most. Not the screaming, not the threats, but the silence. The fact that they don't even know who the fuck you are anymore. That's power. Discipline is the purest. Revenge because it kills them without you aiming at them. They can't laugh at you anymore when you're gone. They can't touch you when you're operating on a level they'll never reach. They can't sabotage what they can't even see. The world is loud. Everyone's crying, complaining, talking about their pain. You stay quiet. You let your results speak. You let your discipline slice throats without words. Here's the brutal truth. They expect you to waste your life proving them wrong. They expect you to stay angry, obsessed, bitter. They want you drunk on rage, drowning in hate, rotting in the same cage they left you in. But discipline breaks that cycle. Discipline frees you. You don't seek their validation. You don't need their apology. You don't give a fuck what they say. Because while they're still stuck in the mud, you've been building your arsenal. Every sacrifice is ammo. Every lonely night is armor. Every no you force yourself to say is another weapon forged in fire. That's why you win. Because you don't need a crowd. You don't need revenge. You don't need closure. You only need discipline. Discipline makes you dangerous. Because dangerous isn't loud. Dangerous isn't wild. Dangerous is calm, cold, unshakable. Dangerous is working when nobody's watching. Dangerous is saying no when it would be easier to say yes. Dangerous is starving your weakness until it dies. You want to hurt them, outlast them, outwork them, outgrow them. Out-discipline every fake, every traitor, every coward that thought you'd stay broken. Because they're counting on your laziness. They're counting on your weakness. They're counting on you to give up so they can whisper, "See? I told you so." Don't give them the satisfaction. Starve them of it. Kill them with silence. Discipline is war against yourself. And every day you win that war, you sharpen your blade. It's not about being motivated. Motivation is weak. Motivation dies when you're tired, when you're hurt, when nobody's cheering. Discipline doesn't give a fuck how you feel. Discipline just executes. Cold, ruthless, relentless. You don't need revenge. You need control. Control over your mind, your body, your habits, your choices. Because the moment you control yourself, nobody controls you. Not your ex, not your friends, not your past. Nobody. That's the kind of power people can't stand. They wanted you broken, but instead you became disciplined. They wanted you begging, but instead you became cold. They wanted you obsessed with them, but instead you became obsessed with building yourself. And that's when you realize they never deserved a piece of you. Not your anger, not your love, not your energy, nothing. So stop trying to prove a point. Stop trying to get even. Stop waiting for closure. Close the door yourself. Lock it. Throw away the key. Then go to war with your own weakness until it never dares look you in the eye again. Because revenge might feel good for a night, but discipline rewrites your entire fucking life. And when they see you again, if they ever do, they won't even recognize you. You won't need to say a word. Your silence will say everything. Your discipline will say everything. Your life will scream louder than your rage ever could. Discipline doesn't just build habits, it builds weapons. It builds an army inside you. It builds a version of yourself that nobody can kill, nobody can break, nobody can stop. And when you rise in silence, when you dominate without a word, when you turn pain into pure discipline, that's the ultimate revenge. Revenge is for the weak. Discipline is for the killers. Every betrayal rewires you. Every lie is a cut that doesn't heal. Every fake smile is a warning you ignored. And when it all collapses, you stop being the same person. The softness dies. The weakness burns away. What comes out of the fire is not the version of you that begs, that explains, that hopes for loyalty. What comes out is a monster, not the kind that destroys blindly, not chaos, not stupidity. A monster made of cold calculation, numb to the bullshit, immune to the games. Betrayal doesn't just hurt you, it mutates you, it sharpens you, it strips away illusions, it kills the old you and forces the rebirth of someone unrecognizable. You trusted once, they used it. You believed once, they twisted it. You cared once, they threw it back in your face. And that's the last time, because after betrayal, you don't keep handing out pieces of yourself. You lock the door, you weld it shut. You build yourself like armor. Betrayal doesn't teach kindness. It teaches strategy. It teaches silence. It teaches patience so cold it feels like cruelty. And that's the point. The lesson isn't how to love better. The lesson is how to stop bleeding for people who feed on it. Listen closely. The people who betrayed you, they don't regret it. They don't lose sleep. They justify it. They laugh about it. They convince themselves they were right. And if you let them, they'll do it again. Betrayal is not an accident. It's a decision. Once made, it reveals everything you refuse to see. You're not broken. You're not a victim. You're something else now. Betrayal carved out the weakness. It put steel in your bones. It gave you the one gift only pain can give, clarity. And clarity hurts. Clarity is lonely. But clarity is power. You finally see people for who they are. The ones who said forever but left when it was inconvenient. The ones who said, I got you, but disappeared when it mattered. The ones who called you friend but used you as a stepping stone. Good, remember it. Stop wishing it was different. Stop rewriting the past in your head. Betrayal is the proof you needed. And proof is priceless. You want to know why betrayal creates monsters? Because it forces you to stop being naive. It forces you to face the truth. People aren't always good, love isn't always loyal, and words mean nothing without action. Monsters aren't born from happiness. They're forged in betrayal, in the moment you realize nobody's coming to save you. And here's the real shift. Once you've been betrayed, you learn the most dangerous discipline, emotional detachment. You stop giving your energy to every hand that reaches out. You stop explaining yourself. You stop proving your worth. You become untouchable because you finally understand. Not everyone deserves access to you. Think about that. How many times did you waste years trying to prove yourself to people who already made up their minds? How many times did you beg for the bare minimum? How many times did you bleed for people who wouldn't even hand you a bandage? That part of you is dead. Let it rot. The monster version of you doesn't chase. It doesn't explain. It doesn't look back. It doesn't crave validation. It builds in silence, walks away without warning, and never gives a second chance. Not because you're cruel, but because you've learned once is enough. Let them call you cold. Let them say you've changed. You have. That's the point. You don't survive betrayal by staying the same. You survive by becoming someone they can never reach again. Every time someone betrayed you, they thought they were breaking you. What they didn't realize is they were shaping you. Every scar is a lesson. Every silence is a strategy. Every wall you built is a fortress. Understand this. Betrayal is the birthplace of discipline. Because pain forces you to focus. Disappointment forces you to cut distractions. Rejection forces you to turn inward and build the version of yourself that doesn't depend on anyone else. That's not weakness. That's strength in its purest, darkest form. And no, you don't need revenge. Revenge is noisy. Revenge is desperate. Revenge means you're still chained to them. A comeback, though, a silent rise, that's betrayal's ultimate punishment. You don't need to say a word. You just need to become someone so untouchable, so self-made, so above the chaos, that they choke on their regret without you ever acknowledging their existence. That's what betrayal creates. A monster too focused to be distracted, too disciplined to be manipulated, too dangerous to be fucked with. So stop crying about loyalty. Stop hoping for apologies. Stop waiting for closure. There is no closure. The closure is you. Walking away, rising higher, building colder, living better without them. Betrayal is the knife. But you are the hand that pulls it out and turns the wound into armor. You are not the same anymore. You are sharper, harder, colder, stronger. They thought they killed you. They didn't. They just created the one thing they can't control. A version of you that doesn't need them, doesn't fear them, and doesn't even care enough to look back. That's betrayal's final gift. Not pain, not weakness, but transformation. Remember this, every betrayal rewires you. Every cut kills the softness. Every disappointment burns the weakness. Until all that's left is someone who doesn't break, doesn't beg, and doesn't forgive. Betrayal doesn't break people. It creates monsters. And you are living proof. They betrayed you. They used you. They left you broken. And for a while, you burned with the thought of payback. You pictured their downfall. You fantasized about the day they'd regret everything. But here's the truth. They don't deserve that much space in your head. They don't deserve your fire. Revenge is still attention. Revenge is still energy. Revenge is proof that they still own a piece of you. And that's the ultimate insult, letting the same people who broke you still control the way you move. The strongest punishment isn't payback. It's absence. It's silence. It's erasing them from your existence without even trying. You want to know why your comeback is more powerful than revenge? Because revenge keeps the focus on them. A comeback puts the focus back where it belongs, on you. You're not here to play their game. You're not here to prove yourself to people who already showed they were fake, weak, and temporary. You're here to build something so unshakable that their names sound pathetic compared to your reality. They wanted you on the floor. They wanted you chasing. They wanted you angry and obsessed. Instead, you rise. You build. You grind in silence until the day your existence becomes the loudest reminder of their failure. Listen carefully. You don't owe them revenge. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them shit. Every ounce of energy you waste thinking about them is stolen from the empire you could be building. Every moment you spend replaying what they did is time you'll never get back. And trust me, the greatest regret they'll ever feel isn't from an argument or a clapback or a fight. It's from watching you become untouchable while they rot in the same place. That's not fantasy. That's the cold truth. They don't deserve your fire. They don't deserve your rage. They don't deserve your explanations. They deserve the one thing they can't handle, silence. Because silence drives them insane. Silence kills their ego. Silence means they don't matter anymore. And that's what they fear the most, being irrelevant. Your comeback isn't a show. It's not an announcement. It's not a post on social media begging for them to notice. No. Your comeback is ruthless because it doesn't include them at all. Your success, your growth, your strength, it's not for them, it's for you. But the beauty of it? They'll see it anyway. They'll hear about it, they'll choke on it. And when they do, you won't even care. That's power. That's freedom. Here's the brutal truth. If you're still plotting revenge, you're still trapped. You're still chained to what they did. You're still a prisoner of the past. And that makes you no different from them. But when you let go, when you stop caring whether they notice, that's when you win. That's when you kill them without lifting a finger. Let them laugh now. Let them doubt you. Let them talk shit behind your back. Their words are cheap. Their actions were weak. None of it matters because when you rise, you erase the memory of their existence without saying a word. They'll scroll, they'll hear your name, they'll realize the life they threw away when they fuck with you. But you'll be too far gone, too high up, too untouchable to even look down. Revenge says, I still care. A comeback says, you're already dead to me. So stop wasting energy on them. Stop waiting for apologies. Stop trying to prove yourself. You don't owe them proof. You owe yourself discipline. You owe yourself progress. You owe yourself respect. Cold truth. You don't rise to make them jealous. You don't rise to make them regret. You rise because the old version of you died the day they betrayed you. And now, the only mission left is domination. Domination without words, without revenge, without fire wasted on the unworthy. Remember this, they don't deserve your fire. They don't deserve your rage. They don't deserve your fucking time. So disappear, work, build, rise, and let your silence bury them deeper than any revenge ever could. The greatest punishment is not revenge. The greatest punishment is living so far above them, they can't even reach the ashes of who you used to be. They think you're done. Let them. They think you're weak. Let them. They think you're broken, defeated, crawling in the dirt. Good. That's your cover. Because the deadliest weapon isn't the one you show. It's the one nobody sees coming. You don't post, you don't announce, you don't beg for validation, you cut the noise. You build behind locked doors. You grind in silence until your entire existence becomes unrecognizable. Understand this: every time you announce your next move, you give the enemy the blueprint to sabotage it. Every time you talk, you bleed energy. Every time you seek validation, you hand over your power. So stop. Stop talking. Stop posting. Stop showing people your hunger, because hunger is only power when it's hidden. The weak shout, the strong vanish. The weak beg for recognition. The strong build empires while everyone thinks they're asleep. You've wasted enough time explaining yourself. For what? For who? To people who laughed at you, doubted you, used you, betrayed you. To fake friends who disappeared when you needed them. To ex-lovers who threw you away like garbage. To family who never believed in you. No, that stage is over. You don't feed them anymore. You don't give them free access to your progress. You don't hand them the privilege of knowing what you're building. They don't deserve it. Silence is power. Silence is control. Silence is the weapon of killers. You want revenge? Forget revenge. Revenge is noisy, desperate, emotional. A comeback is colder. A comeback is silent. A comeback doesn't announce. It doesn't beg for recognition. It arrives like a knife in the dark. Swift, quiet, fatal. You understand? Every hour you grind in silence, you widen the gap between who they think you are and who you're becoming. Every day you vanish into your own discipline. You make yourself a ghost they can't track. They forget about you. Perfect. They think you gave up. Even better, they think they won. Exactly what you want. Then years later you show up. Not as the person they knew. Not as the broken one. Not as the loser they mocked. You return as someone else. Someone colder. Someone sharper. Someone untouchable. That's when it hits them. The silence wasn't weakness. It was incubation. The shadows weren't hiding. They were training grounds. You are not just making a comeback. You are erasing the old version of yourself. You are building someone so unrecognizable that even your own past self wouldn't dare look you in the eye. And here's the truth: the world doesn't need your explanations. It doesn't need your announcements. It doesn't care about your promises. The world only respects results. So stop wasting time proving yourself in words. Prove yourself in silence. Do you think assassins announce when they strike? Do you think predators roar before they kill? No. They wait. They stalk. They disappear until the exact moment when the strike is fatal. That's you now. You are the ghost. You are the shadow. You are the silence that makes them uneasy. You grind when they sleep. You build when they rot in gossip. You sharpen your mind when they waste theirs in distractions. You push your body when they drown in comfort. Because silence is more terrifying than noise. Noise fades. Silence lingers. Let them wonder where you went. Let them laugh at your absence. Let them think you quit. They don't realize you're sharpening the blade. Every insult is fuel. Every betrayal is ammunition. Every loss is another rep in the dark. You don't need to scream. You don't need to beg. You don't need to show them your pain. Pain is private. Pain is sacred. Pain belongs to you alone, and you turn it into something lethal. This is how killers are made. Not in crowds, not in applause, in isolation, in silence, in shadows. You want discipline? Good. Then live like a ghost. Train when no one sees. Suffer without witnesses. Build without applause. Make yourself unstoppable without ever announcing you're trying. Because the deadliest comeback is the one they never saw coming. Listen to me. Stop showing the blueprint. Stop talking about your plans. Stop explaining your silence. It's not their business. It's not their privilege. It's not their right to know. You owe them nothing. One day they'll see. One day you'll walk back into their world. Not to prove them wrong. Not to explain. Not to flex. Just to exist. And your existence will be the punishment. Your success will be their regret. Your silence will echo louder than all their noise combined. That's the strike. That's the kill. That's the final blow. So disappear, grind, build, evolve. Do it alone. Do it in silence. And when you come back, don't come back as the person they remember. Come back as someone they can't recognize, can't reach, can't touch. Disappear into the shadows now. Strike when it's fatal. That's how you win. Silence isn't weakness. It's the weapon they'll never see coming. They thought you were disposable. They thought you were replaceable. They thought walking away from you was freedom. Let them think it. Let them celebrate while they still can. Because regret doesn't hit instantly. Regret is a slow burn. And nothing burns longer than realizing you were the best thing they'll never have again. You don't beg for closure. You don't explain. You don't post quotes about moving on. You shut the fuck up and disappear into your grind. Because silence is terrifying to people who once fed off your energy. They're expecting noise. They're expecting weakness. Give them nothing. That nothing will haunt them louder than any words you could ever say. Understand this. You don't make people regret losing you by chasing, by proving, or by flexing online. You make them regret it by becoming untouchable, by building yourself into someone so sharp, so disciplined, so far removed from their drama that they choke on their own memory of you. Regret is not something you give them directly. It's something they drown in on their own when they see who you've become. You want to know the sick truth? People don't realize your worth when they have you. They realize it in silence, in absence, in the void you leave behind. They'll look for your energy in someone else and it won't exist. They'll crave your loyalty, your presence, your grind. But all they'll find is cheap replacements. They'll try to fill the gap with distractions, hookups, fake friendships, but it won't touch what you gave them. And every attempt will remind them they fucked up. Your job is not to make them see. Your job is to vanish from their world and rise in your own. Let their ego rot in confusion. Let their pride keep them from reaching out. Because the longer they stay silent, the deeper the regret eats them alive. And the more you grow, the heavier the weight of their stupidity crushes them. Stop wasting energy on revenge. Revenge is temporary. Revenge is petty. A comeback is permanent. A comeback is brutal. A comeback is undeniable. When you rise, you don't just win. You erase every doubt, every insult, every betrayal they ever threw at you. They don't get the satisfaction of watching you struggle. They only get the nightmare of watching you rise where they can't reach. Let them scroll through your success in silence. Let them hear about your progress through whispers. Let them wonder how the fuck you turned into something so far beyond them. Because regret isn't created by confrontation. It's created by contrast. The contrast of who you were when they had you versus who you became when they lost you. And here's the brutal truth. You don't owe them forgiveness. You don't owe them a conversation. You don't owe them shit. The most powerful move you'll ever make is giving them no access. You become the locked door they'll never open again. They'll replay every memory, every moment, every chance they had to treat you right, and it'll stab them harder than anything you could ever say. You were too loyal, too forgiving, too available. That was your weakness. But now, that's the weapon. Because once you pull that energy back, once you redirect it into yourself, you become unstoppable. You stop being the victim of betrayal and start being the reason they can't sleep at night. They'll smile in public, they'll act unbothered, they'll pretend they're fine. But behind closed doors, they're rotting. Regret doesn't scream. It whispers. It creeps into their mind when they see someone who looks like you, talks like you, grinds like you, and they realize it's not you. It's never you. They lost the original, and they can't find a copy. And you don't chase, you don't care, you don't even need to blot them. Your existence without them is punishment enough. Your silence is a bullet, your growth is the wound, and your success is the scar that never heals. This is the art. You don't prove anything. You don't waste energy trying to show them what they lost. You just fucking live. You outgrow them so viciously that their memory of you becomes unbearable. That's how you win. Not with words, not with revenge, with transformation, with distance, with discipline so cold it cuts deeper than anger ever could. People think regret comes fast. No, regret is patient. It waits. It waits until they're alone at night. It waits until their fake replacements fail. It waits until they realize your silence isn't a phase, it's forever. And then it crushes them, slowly, permanently. And by then, you're too far gone, too high above, too powerful to even look back. They'll regret losing you, but you'll barely remember they existed. That's the ultimate victory, not that they regret, but that you don't give a fuck whether they do or not. Because the truth is, their regret is not your reward. Your reward is the empire you built while they were busy being stupid. Your reward is waking up every day free from their poison. Your reward is never needing to explain yourself again. That's the art. Not chasing, not proving, not screaming. Just rising so silently, so coldly, that their entire existence looks pathetic compared to yours. So let them regret. Let them rot. Let them choke on their own choices. And you keep moving. You keep building. You keep rising. Because the loudest fuck you in the world is living a life they'll never touch again. They won't get a warning. They won't get a speech. They won't get an explanation. Because the second you explain, you give them importance. And they don't deserve that. Not anymore. Domination isn't about shouting. It isn't about begging someone to notice. It's not about reminding them what they lost. Domination is silence. The kind of silence that keeps them awake at night because they can't figure out if you're broken, healing, or building something monstrous. That's the power they don't know. They never know. The ones who doubted you will expect the old version to crawl back. They'll expect apologies. They'll expect the same weakness that kept you chained to them before. But weakness dies the day you decide to stop performing for people who never gave a shit about you. The loudest thing you can do in this world is disappear and rebuild. Not just rebuild, restructure. Tear down the old identity that needed them. Erase the parts of you that begged for validation. Kill off the version of you that tolerated betrayal. And then, replace it with something they'll never recognize. You don't post about it. You don't announce it. You don't hint at it. You let the silence work for you. Because nothing is more destructive to an enemy than not knowing what the fuck you're up to. The comeback isn't for them. It never was. It's for you. But here's the truth they'll choke on. When you rise, the echo of their absence will haunt them louder than any revenge ever could. People want reactions. They want proof that they mattered. They want to know they left a scar. And when you give them nothing, that's where domination starts. That's where they panic. They wanted to be remembered. Instead, they're erased. Erase them. Erase the story. Erase the need to talk about it. Stop carrying corpses. Stop explaining dead weight. Your silence is the coffin. Your growth is the dirt on top of it. They used to have a version of you that craved their approval. That person doesn't exist anymore. Now you answer to no one. You prove nothing. You just execute. Day after day. Quiet, cold, relentless. Discipline isn't glamorous. Silence isn't exciting. But both of them are lethal. That's how you destroy without lifting a finger. You outlast. You outwork. You outwork. And you do it all without giving them the satisfaction of seeing you flinch. You don't clap back. You don't send paragraphs. You don't let them know you still think about them. You don't. You cut the cord and burn the bridge. And then you build a city on the other side of the ocean where they'll never step foot. And when the world finally sees you, it won't be because you shouted. It won't be because you begged for the spotlight. It will be because your work, your results, and your discipline made it impossible to ignore you. That's domination. That's how you win without words. Revenge says, I want you to hurt like I hurt. Domination says, I don't give a fuck if you hurt, because I'm already gone. One is petty. The other is final. Domination is erasing the scoreboard, walking off the field, and building your own fucking league. It's not competition. It's replacement. It's silence so loud they can't escape it. Understand this. They don't deserve a front row seat to your transformation. They don't deserve access to your wins. The people who laughed, who doubted, who left you bleeding, they forfeited the right to witness your rise. They don't get to clap. They don't get to hate. They don't get to matter. They get silence. You dominate by cutting energy leaks, by refusing to waste another second proving yourself, by directing everything you have into building something untouchable. Every rep in the gym, every page you write, every dollar you save, every skill you master. That's not just growth. That's war strategy. And the beauty? They'll never see it coming. They'll think you disappeared. They'll think you failed. They'll think you gave up. Let them. That's part of the silence. Because silence makes people invent stories. And the story they invent will never come close to the reality you're building. By the time they find out, it's too late. You'll be too far gone, too strong, too untouchable. That's the art of domination. Not words, not revenge, not wasted breath. Just silence and results. You win when you stop performing. You win when you no longer care who's watching. You win when the life you build makes their opinions irrelevant. That's the ultimate revenge, making their existence meaningless to your success. You can't clap back at someone who can't even reach you anymore. You can't hurt someone who's not even in your lane. And that's what you become, unreachable. You become a ghost to them, but a weapon to yourself. The final stage of power isn't screaming. It isn't revenge. It's calm indifference. It's the discipline to stay silent while you turn yourself into everything they said you couldn't be. Remember this. They can't kill what doesn't need them. They can't destroy what doesn't answer back. They can't touch what vanished into silence and came back too big to ignore. So stop talking. Stop explaining. Stop wasting words. Dominate. Not for them, for you. And the world will find out when it's already too late. Domination is silence that turns into thunder. And by the time they hear it, you're already untouchable.